Ladies and gentlemen, and this is the Imperium's 10 best jobs. Warhammer 40,000 lore, history, by the channel Lutin09. I did the worst jobs, which was fucking awesome video. Yeah, it was like a 30-minute video. Wait a minute, was there a second part to the worst job? I don't remember it. But yeah, it was like, you know, the worst job, and there was this, holy shit, all the jobs were so ridiculous. Some of them were like really effed up, right? Like some people's jobs just were there to go out and die in a way, just because they had to fix something, which was ridiculous. Damn, that video is still awesome. No wonder it's really famous by Lutin, I guess. 2.6 million views. But yeah, this is gonna be best jobs. I don't know. I guess Astartes, right? Space Marine. That would be like one of the best jobs, right? They are badass. I don't know. I don't know how many like Inquisition, right? I mean, their job is to say, oh, they are heretics, you know, exterminators or whatever. I don't know, it's going to be fun. Mechanicus, I guess Mechanicus love doing that shit, love making their machines. I don't know. But I guess it's not just going to be if you love it or not. I guess it's just going to be checking the condition if it's good or not, right? What is the mortality rate? So yeah, Lutin is great at things like this, so let's watch it. Okay. I'm guessing by that whole dialogue is Inquisitor is going to be there.
While it's undoubtedly true that the world of the dark far future is one filled with horror, immorality and nightmarish perversion, it's also true that while many billions lead lives that are objectively unendurable, there are equally those who are gifted rare positions of privilege, luxury and highly rewarding lives of service. Whilst the Imperium may demand loyalty, it's an unavoidable human trait that has existed forever, that given the opportunity, individuals will always seek the feathers to line their own nests. While some are heavily indoctrinated into the cult of the Imperium and live lives of pure service and abstinence, there are likely significantly more who live lives that are hedonistic, luxurious to excess, boundless freedoms, or how about just sheer raw power. Again, as before, it's worth mentioning that often what I might designate as a job in the Imperium may or may not fall within our understanding of such a thing at this time. Often within the Imperium you're not actually paid, you might simply be assigned a duty through hereditary or just assignment, and you find that your life leads you down a certain path and a certain role
Duty
to play.
job, same
so what
thing
we
in a
might
way.
designate as jobs are more roles in society to play, but it's much the same. You're working to stay alive and contribute to the overall structure of human society. As we look at the best jobs today, if you missed out on the worst ones, check the link at the end of this video, and we're covering roles in this video with no constraint. But perhaps we can also look at more standard working class roles that do not include positions of excessive power in another video. And lastly, what would you like me to cover next in a best or a worst rundown? Best weapons, worst deaths, best war machines? Tell me in the comments and maybe I can cover that one next. So in no specific order, let's run down the best jobs within the Imperium of Man. Now, it's no surprise that we start with the role of the Inquisitor. There are a few roles less coveted than that of becoming an Inquisitor of the Imperial
I'm remembering that text-to-speech device whole series. I think I watched 6, 7 or something. Or was it 11? I don't even remember how many episodes I watched. I remember the Inquisitor in that one. I'm just imagining that right now.
Inquisition. For many, the simple reasons for this are twofold: freedom and power. Inquisitors, unlike the majority of humans in the Imperium of Man, are free to pursue their own goals and missions, within the context of their role, of course, to protect and further the interests of humanity. The Inquisition at its current existent state is a massive organisation in the Imperium, answerable to no one other than the Emperor and themselves. They reign as terrifying figures to most of the rest of humanity. Take your pick.
That is right. I remember, was it Lutin who showed that graph, right? There's a graph of things like who answers to whom, and Inquisition is completely at the side, like directly answers to Emperor or something, which is kind of like Nobody can answer to Emperor, right? So basically they are their own thing. And Inquisitor being the top of that makes sense why it's one of the best job there is. Like, you answer to literally no one at that point.
The three Ordos as well as to which to best participate in. The Ordo Malleus deals with eradicating demons and the servants of chaos, basically hunting the corrupted, and they're also backed militarily by the Grey Knights. Not a bad team to call for backup. The Ordo Xenos are not purely focused on slaughtering the oddities of the galaxy, they also spend time investigating, cataloguing.
Should I ask for some Space Marines? No, I'm gonna ask for Grey Knights, because why the fuck not?
Exploring, if you will, to better understand where and when humanity may want to lay down swathes of purging fire. They may spend decades travelling and recording what they discover, and they often have solid bonds and connections with rogue traders. The Ordo Xenos, similarly to the Ordo Malleus with its Grey Knights, gets to call upon the Astartes of the Death Watch, a force formed entirely of veteran Space Marines. Finally, the Ordo Hereticus. Often these Inquisitors are those that people lean toward, choosing them because they are the witch hunters, and rightfully they're feared by the heretics of humanity. They hunt down rogue psychers, mutants of mankind, and those who would speak heresy toward the Imperium and the Emperor. Speaking out of turn? Heresy. Spilled my beer? You better know that's some heresy. And as per the previous choice, yes, they are backed not only by the Adeptus Astartes, but also the Adeptus Sororitas. That is the all-female militant wing of the Imperial cult's ecclesiarchy. So if being able to walk around the worlds of the Imperium indiscriminately killing those who might look at you the wrong way doesn't appeal in and of itself, you also get to be backed up by an entourage of badass, bolter-wielding ladies.
See, the thing is, like, I'm gonna say things against that I've been saying for past years since I was, like, somebody can make a great TV show or movie with this, like Star Wars level of shit, right? I mean, look at the Star Wars, how many spin-offs they have, like, from Mandalorians to Boba Fett, because they have layers. Warhammer has more layers. I mean, this thing has many chain and branches, many division. There are spacemen who are fighting things, right? You can make something with that. You can make something like, somebody who's branded heretic is on the run, right? And they are hunted by all these different people, right? This Inquisition, people with rank. You could make an epic show with that, like how they do with the, in Star Wars, with the black armor people. I don't even remember their name, but they come with just like an epic, holy shit, somebody's here, right? You can create some scenarios like that, like if somebody's running on the run, these people are hunting. That could be great show, great movie that can branch out because the lore is way too wide and big.
Inquisition are, as an organisation and individuals, exempt from scrutiny, other than by the Emperor himself and, as I say, themselves. Inquisitors can demand whatever they need at any time, be it materials, citizens, manpower, and hardware. In essence, an Inquisitor's power is absolute. They deal out individual death or planetary scale annihilation. The Inquisition is a vast organisation, and it's difficult to really summarise in short order the level of complexity within its own ranks, let alone its operations within the Imperium. The Inquisition is even known to have factional wars within itself from time to time, as it answers only to itself, and so must fight for its philosophies and fanatical points of principle. These rarely will last for any significant length of time, and if they risk spilling out beyond a localized area, they will usually be crushed by a heavy force of Astartes to restore order by any means necessary, at the behest of yet more inquisitional commands. This gives us...
I was just gonna say that, like, I understand, like, Inquisition is powerful, Inquisition answers no one, but they also have infighting, like, at that point, like, I mean, who answers to at that point? Why not something like Space Marines or something, group of Space Marine chapters, basically cross them when the time, like he said, like something goes out of hand, they do step in. Because let's be honest, it doesn't matter how great Grey Knights are with them, how big Inquisition is, Astartes chapters are much bigger, right? The army is much bigger, right? So there will be some point like, okay, that's it, we are enough.
Small sense of how complex and difficult to constrain Inquisitors' power can be, as they individually can wield huge influence in an Imperial system. Why is the role of an Inquisitor one of the best jobs in the Imperium? The answer is the sheer power you hold individually.
You answer to no one.
Now, Imperial Noble was always going to make the cut for the best jobs in the Imperium. They are, as you might expect, the elite civilians of Imperial worlds.
What, they live in pleasant worlds or something?
Lords and ruling families of major hive cities, planets and star systems. Having power and command over many millions, if not many billions of human lives, you find yourself born into such nobility, then you've already hit the jackpot in terms of potential lives to live. You'll be raised in safety and luxury, disconnected and likely ignorant of the suffering and abhorrent conditions the billions of fellow humans endure below your heavily protected living quarters. A life disconnected from the grim realities known to the majority of individuals within the Imperium, yet it's not a life without risks. Human desire knows no bounds, and murderous ambition and vicious feuds can continue for centuries between families. Many highborn will likely never leave their luxurious palaces, protected from the horrors of the outside world and the citizenry who are best off not knowing what they're missing out on. Highborn citizens of the Imperium are seen, but perhaps only by the nobility itself, as the pinnacle of human bloodlines, representing the greatest and most carefully refined family lineage. As is often the case when it comes to such self-celebrating aristocracy, for the few individuals who are genuinely enlightened or have something positive to contribute, far more of these noble family heirs are self-obsessed, idle, and prone to debasing themselves, often living lives that walk a very dangerous line between indulgence and heresy. Highborn also, among their privileges, are significantly educated about the lives that they live, the power and politics, the general understandings of the Imperium, and how it's best to avoid its significantly dangerous pitfalls.
Seriously.
For some Highborn, it's a life of ignorance.
I was just gonna say that, like, okay, they are nobles, right? They live rich, luxurious life, but then again, you live in a society where heresy, heretics, words like that thrown on a lot, right? Like, this is like, you know, like a witch trials type of thing, right? I remember reading some diaries of some witch hunter of the past, where they talk about how some kids, teenagers, how they're witches because they all saw something, observed something, and they just basically hang them or something, right? Because of the witch hunts, literal witch hunts at that point. Because this kind of similarity, like heresy, you're going against the Imperium, you're going against the Emperor. Yeah, so even if you're noble, you must be scared all the time because, you know, in which type of society you live in. That's fucked up.
And lavish luxury. For others, their careful education and focused ambition can lead them to become agents of the Inquisition. How much of that is down to loyalty for the Imperium or carefully planned personal ambition is entirely debatable. Being a highborn, though, is not only about wallowing in self-satisfaction. There is work to be done, albeit entirely self-serving. You must protect the interests of the family name, and more importantly, try to better them. It's a never-ending game of carefully planned subterfuge to undermine and steal power from others who need to be taken down a few positions and allow your family a tighter grip on regional power systems. Blackmail, scandals,
Your average nobility of the
carefully
past.
premeditated murder are all day to day. It's a life of dangerous mind games, murder mystery, political power games, and decadent luxury. Despite the dangers, it's without question far preferable to eating slop every day, working to exhaustion, and then dying of some unpleasant industrial contamination.
Much better
The
life.
Adeptus Custodes. Now, a
There
seemingly
it goes.
endless popular suggestion for best jobs in the Imperium, yet somewhat debatable when you really think about it. Overall,
Yeah,
though,
I
I
was
feel
just gonna say, why is this best job? I mean, they're bored all the time. They just guard the fucking Emperor all the time. I mean, they don't even go outside. I mean, I get it. They're badass of the badass, right? 10 feet tall, taller than your average Astartes, right? The powerful of the powerful, right? They're the most powerful one there is. But yeah.
I think it's a good candidate, objectively speaking. Why do the Custodes come up so regularly when people think of perfect roles to play as part of the Imperium? Well, for one, the honour of serving so close to the Emperor. The Custodes are the personal bodyguard to the Emperor of Man himself, warriors of unmatched capability and whose sole purpose is to counter any potential threat to the Master of Mankind. Back in the days of the Unification Wars and the Great Crusade, the Custodes would follow the Emperor everywhere. Now, as he is interred on the Golden Throne on Holy Terror, they rarely leave the planet, taking a far less active role than they once did in the Imperium. And while their tedious daily lives may seem mind-numbing to some, they have seen renewed life as the Ultramarines Primarch has returned to lead humanity. And so it is that the Custodes' days of confinement to Terra over so many years has come to an end, and
Really?
they reach out with white-hot vengeance to destroy the dark forces of chaos. They stand near immortal warriors, the Emperor's finest gene-crafted warriors. Their dexterity and ability far beyond that of even ordinary Astartes, their minds powerfully refined and fortified, their education extensively studied in all matters. For they exist to not only be powerful defenders, but to serve as companions and counsel for the Emperor himself. They reach out now more proactively than ever, fighting as some of the most supremely powerful warriors that exist within the Imperium, retaining the honour that the blood of the Emperor runs through their veins. They are the golden light of the Emperor himself, his manifested spirit, and only surpassed in ability by the Primarchs and the Emperor himself. To be a Custodes is to be the pinnacle of human design. Their task of defending against the darkness may be challenging, but to stand individually as one of the most powerful and advanced forms of humanity ever created, beings of godlike strength and mental dexterity compared to your average human, bearing ornate crafted armour and weapons, and who is said to have been genetically individually crafted by the Emperor himself, there can be little dispute that the position of a Custodes is greatly revered. Rogue traders are
individually crafted by the Emperor. That's some next. I mean, I knew they were really powerful, but individually crafted, like damn. So they are all around top of the top, right? I mean, they have all the knowledge there is. They are smart. Basically, your royal guard, right? That's what royal guard's supposed to be. Royal guard is not just some guard. They are supposed to be best at fighting. They're supposed to be more knowledgeable. They're supposed to know everything. They're supposed to know all tactics. They're supposed to have the best discipline. That's what they are, right? I mean, this Custodes basically stand in one place for a long time, like ridiculously long time. But yeah, with the recent change with the Guilliman, I don't know, his return, I guess they are now outside, like they are actually fighting now. Huh, that's interesting. Did the lore expand it even more after that? Like, okay, what's happening? I mean, obviously they are going to expand it, so I guess we're going to hear more stories of how Custodes actually battled in some battle somewhere and actually did something. Because imagine that Space Marines are already overpowering for any creatures out there, right? Space Marine fights Necrons, Orcs, and they are really powerful. Imagine Custodes. I mean, I get it, their numbers is not that much, but imagine Custodes actually fighting, and how badass would that be?
Obvious idolized role within the Imperium of man, where much of humanity leads assigned lives of extremely limited personal choice, rogue traders lead lives that are entirely the opposite. Lives of exploration and adventure and self-determination. They're able to travel wherever they feel is worthwhile, dreaming and speculating for the betterment of mankind, but also for themselves. Rogue traders lead a life that many can only dream of. Successful rogue traders will also have close-knit teams of specialists around them, experts in diplomacy, exploration, and combat. These individuals, though, unlike others related through their likely noble family ties, will be well-educated, with a strong sense of instinct and cunning, skilled merchants, potentially pirates, and most certainly opportunistic. Rogue traders are truly exceptional individuals, and it's easy to romanticize rogue traders as they rattle on through the void in their customized and potentially...
Let's be honest, only reason is Han Solo. Star Wars was so big, right? And Han Solo became more famous than anyone, right? This is the reason. Right? When you think this, like first you think, oh look at this is like Han Solo from Star Wars.
Xenos adapted ships. Some rogue traders even end up feeling so disconnected from the Imperium that they end up feeling no strong ties with it, and they walk a very thin line between loyalty and heresy. The truest appeal to take on the role of a rogue trader, though, is the freedom of exploration and trade that it represents. You're not tied to a specific world, nor are you beholden to oaths of duty and service to the Emperor. You're not going to be sent out on orders back to back from one place to another, dealing with situations and entities that would be enough to destroy the minds of many ordinary citizens. As a rogue trader, you lead a difficult life, but a life where the challenges become their own rewards. Adventure, glory, and riches await the smartest and most capable of rogue traders, and for any who are able to locate the rarest of the rare lost STC templates, eternal glory in the Imperium awaits you. Now initially,
oh my god, that's your damn plot for a video game right there. I always thought of like which type of a RPG style, like Bethesda Game Studio style game would there be for Warhammer. But there you go, Rogue Trader. They even have this objective like finding something that would be important to them all. And they tie up to some kind of a plot to some battle, right? Then they realize that they are really important or something, whatever. They can fight toe to toe with the Astartes or something. I don't know. There's an entire story to be made. I mean, your average Bethesda Game Studio style thing, like even though you're a rogue trader, you're the most badass guy there is, because that's what happened with the games like that.
Initially, I was considering not to include a High Administrator in the best jobs list because I considered it to be too close to a planetary governor or a noble. However, it does differ and certainly sits as one of the more cushy jobs available to individuals in the darkness of the far future. Essentially, you would take on the role of a high-ranking bureaucrat, and this is beneficial to you for multiple reasons. One being the scale of the Administratum. Even as a senior staff member within its vast sub-departments would allow you to fade into a state of greyness. And this is likely one of the safest positions to occupy within the Imperium. Not being as visible and therefore open to conspirators as a noble, not being so dispensable as an ordinary pleb citizen who nobody is going to miss. You also are a vital cog in the mechanisms that keep the Imperium operating. While you are replaceable, it's going to be in the interests of all to limit how frequently that occurs and risk bureaucratic chaos. Lastly is the ability to remain out of sight and out of mind. Even the head of the Administratum at this stage can probably only make a rough estimate of the actual number of divisions that exist inside the apparatus of the Administratum. So the likelihood of you being able to live by any standards a comfortable existence with few threats toward you is significantly better than most individuals in the Imperium at the top and bottom of the pile. While your life may not be as lush and luxurious as that of a noble, occupying a high-ranking position is certainly going to accommodate you with comfortable surroundings, and that coupled with the relative safety and anonymity that being a single individual in such a colossal bureaucratic system is arguably still preferable to running the constant risk of having your throat cut unceremoniously in the middle of the night by your father's sister's cousin's son. Now, a Titan Prince.
So basically, a cubicle, that's your job. Depressing, but yeah, I guess you survive. In the world of Warhammer 40k, let's be honest, surviving is the biggest there, even if you have a cubicle. Because when you really we really put yourself in this position, you really empathize with all these different stories, right? You realize like how fucked up and dark this world is. Like survival becomes like even the nobles gets backstabbed all the time, even though they have a lusty life. But yeah, that job right there, yeah, it's a cubicle job. Nobody knows you even exist. So yeah, you can't. Nobody can hurt you, and you're doing fine because you're not expendable that easily, I guess. So yeah. You know what, I guess I'll do the second part later. Time is running out for me. But yeah, this was a good one. But I guess, it's not as fun as seeing the worst jobs because that really tells you like how fucked up things are. This kind of, there's a Custodes, sure. There is this Inquisition. Yeah. But the worst jobs were really good. I guess he should do more videos like that. I'm pretty sure there is going to be more worst jobs. More horrifying tales of how fucked up people's lives are and people's duties are. So yeah, he should do more videos like that. But yeah. Alright, well, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe. So on a wish type videos to react to more. Check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. There you'll find a playlist for Warhammer 40k videos that I did, I guess. So you don't have to find other my Warhammer 40k reactions. And yeah, I'll see you next time.